No better day than a Saturday for hockey. We got a full day of that for you with the PWHPA Dream Gap Tour. It's the fourth stop of this tour, the Secret Deodorant Women's Hockey Showcase. The PWHPA is honored to partner with Secret Canada for this showcase. We've got over 120 athletes in this showcase, and that's the most they've ever had so far. My name's Jared Babty, happy to be up here in the Curly Davies broadcast booth, joined by the incomparable Liz Knox for Game 1 between Team Larocque and the Kessel Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited to be here, and it's really nice to see Team Kessel coming up. The girls flew in last night, and we're looking forward to seeing the product they put on the ice today.
Now, primarily an American group is Team Kessel, but Amanda didn't make the trip out, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, due to injury, she had to take the weekend off. So we've got Jess Vella, local GTA player, stepping in to fill her shoes there. Big shoes to fill, certainly, and really great to see Kessel kind of be the face for this team that's here. It's really unfortunate that she couldn't be here herself.
Gigi Marvin taking the kind of captaincy role on this team as well. Liz, of course, you are a firefighter as well, and a lot of these girls have jobs outside of playing the hockey here. And you were telling me off air that you were wandering around getting some of the more recent updates from these women.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I found, obviously this is only my second time doing this kind of color commentary, and I was using Dr. Google to try to learn a little bit more about some of these players that are lesser known to me simply just because I haven't played against them or with them. And astounding to find, the education that they have, the jobs that they hold. And so I hope today to kind of bring light to some of those jobs. And really, these girls are making an impact off the ice, and to see them here standing today with the PWHPA is just another way that they're making the world a better and more accessible place.
And you just saw Katie Burt starting in net, number 33, the Boston College product for Team Kessel. And on the other side, it's one of your former teammates, Erica Howe, making the start for Team Larocque.
Really happy to see Howie out there, a good friend of mine, and she's always good to put on a show, so I'm excited to see these two battle.
Well, just about ready for puck drop between these two teams. Team Larocque in black and Team Kessel in white. And the first shot on net's a quick one off the stick of, let's take a look, that is Melissa Samoskevich. There are doubles. No, that was Pankowski. There we go already. There are duplicate numbers, and I think both these teams have the most duplicates. And so apologize if I don't get the number immediately correct, but we're doing our best up here with nice big rosters. It's kept in by Team Kessel. Brianne Jenner tries to sweep it to the far side. It's gobbled up again, but bobbled at the line by Alyssa Gallardi. It comes out of the neutral zone where Haley Scamora throws it back in deep. Here's Howe playing it behind her own net. Gives off to Jocelyn Larocque with a pass up to Laura Stacy, and her and Victoria Bach have a little give and go, and Stacy threw that out in front of the net, but Bach couldn't quite get there in time. She's got the puck again, though, and tried to find Kristen Richards on the right side. Held in by Matucci. Ellen Matucci just for a moment. Now down the left wing side, Haley Scamora trying to get that out in front. Rough collision between two Team Kessel members. Now Team Larocque trying to get it out through center. Just goes to the neutral ice area. And now Team Kessel taking over. Just thrown up the far side there by Megan Myers.
Yeah,
no, that's actually Greco.
You were talking earlier about the numbers, and part of the decision to keep the numbers that the girls had versus making sure that we had different numbers on each team was so that we could trade players between teams on the Dream Gap Tour if we needed to. And part of what we're striving for here is to really make our players marketable. And if you see Laura Stacy wearing anything other than 7, it's going to be a little confusing, right? So we just wanted that consistency. But had I known I'd be up here right now, maybe would have said something a little different.
Well, that's a different number 7, Nicole Costa, taking the face off for Team Larocque. She lost it, though. Lost it to Emily Janiga. And a little bit of a hook on the play on Megan Myers. So no icing. Far side, Nicole Brown bounces it out to center. And so Team Kessel retreats.
Yeah, Janiga, of course, had the exciting opportunity of playing in China. And, the experience that I've heard from those players is kind of the gold standard right now for pro women's hockey. You got a great shot.
Oh, off the crossbar.
Wow.
And out of play. Trying to pick that glove hand top corner as
that was Megan Myers. Wow, what a shot there down low.
And Team Larocque was doing that at warm-up too, really almost exposing Howie a little bit.
Being very gentle to her on the warm-up. Yeah, great opportunity there.
Missed off the crossbar. That's Pankowski back to the line. Long wrist shot, that's blocked in front. And Pankowski trying to regain control of it. It's whacked in by Vela. Bouncing around at the far point. Still not out. Pankowski pinned up by Larocque. Still can't get it out.
Somehow that stays in. Wow.
Larocque will try again. Retreats a little bit. And now finally just Passes it up to Gribbins, out of her reach though. And bounces just held in by Gallardi at the bench. That otherwise probably would have gone out of play. And there she is on the puck now, bumped off by Larocque. Zalewski got it back to her defense. Flanagan out and down the ice, no icing. There's Matucci, got around to the far side for Bach. Bach with the help of Jenner. Jenner bobbled it a little bit at their own blue line. Watched by Zalewski, has to be careful. Takes it around back of her own net, stops up actually, and gave it away. Zalewski pinned up by Jenner. Zalewski took it away. Spins and fires just over top of the net from Marvin. Gigi Marvin just offside though as it came out at the near point.
All this warm weather, I think that puck has lost its freeze because it's sure is jumping around on the players a lot right now, but there's some nerves too, so hopefully we see it settle down a little bit.
It's a decent crowd here today. I think it might increase as the day goes on.
Yeah.
As folks trickle in from weekend work and such.
Exactly, and the fact that we can offer 3 games today is pretty exciting, but it does mean that our fan base will be kind of spread out over those 3 games, so it's a great crowd for a Saturday morning here for sure.
Dean Kessel setting up in the offensive zone. An errant pass to the line out of the reach of Olivia Zafuto. And so she tries to throw it back up down the ice. No icing again. Back on it is Blake Bolden. Errant pass taken away by Scamora. And actually Skarupa trying to chip that out in front. Grushau with the help of Skarupa. 2 of them work in the far corner. Skarupa knocked off the puck by Bolden. Comes around to the near corner. Pinching in is Keller. She works in the near corner. Dug out. Poked round back of the net. Stacy can't come up with it. Bounces out to Jenner. And now Jenner, Stacy, and Bach. This is a high caliber line going out to work. Jenner actually pulling off for a change though. Stacy left alone in the offensive zone. So teammates complete the change. Kessel back out to center though. This is Colzer and Jones. A little give and go. The 222s playing defense together. Colzer carries it in, gave it off to Richards, and a drop pass just out of the reach of McParland, but Jones follows up and just misses the near side.
That's just one too many drop passes there. Had a little flashback like I was watching the Russian junior team.
Pankowski walking the top of the circle. She scores!
Yeah, absolutely no mistake there. Good screen in front of the net, and obviously taking away Erica Howe's eyes. She just picked a little blocker there. That was a great shot.
Annie Pankowski finding the near side low blocker on Howe. And Team Kessel jumps out to a 1-0 lead. Face-off one back by the Wolves. Get out of their own zones. Billy Flanagan. Pass ahead for Pankowski. The goal scorer intercepted by Costa. Costa working along the far boards. Tries to work past Samoskevich. Now it's carried out through center. Here's Brown passing in front. McParland was checked. She couldn't get her stick on the centering pass.
Yeah, nice to see Nicole Costa and Nicole Brown out there together. Obviously teammates at Quinnipiac University for a number of years, and it's a chemistry that I definitely witnessed firsthand, and here they are trying to make something happen.
Brown behind the net. Being worked over by Flanagan. Puck's in her feet, just kind of waiting for some help perhaps. Here comes Becca King to try and dig it out. Bounces to the far side where Gallardi backhands it to the line and just out with the help of Samoskevich. Now handling it behind her own net.
Almost fired it right at her D there.
Bit of a hard pass for Matucci to handle. Bird out to play it. Comes to the near hash marks. King pinched in to stop it there. King is knocked down, and the near corner. Zalewski now carrying it out through center. Tried to chip it past Bolden. Didn't quite work. Futo's on it now. Tried to drag it, skating backwards.
Yeah, Blake Bolden, one of the few American players on the on Team Larocque here. And I was talking to her before the game, coming all the way from San Diego. So a little bit of a trip for her.
Yeah, a bit of a shock as well with the weather, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Maybe not the rain, but centering pass off the post. Off the stick of Shannon Hickey. Another opportunity for Team Kessel. Almost converting. Rattray, Jamie Lee Rattray. Upending the defender. It bounces out to the line. Colzer couldn't settle it. All the way down for Bach now in her own zone. Poked away from her by Scamora. Colzer picks it up. Tries to direct it over to Rachel Aid. Now it's carried out up the right wing side. Off wing for Bach. She chips it in deep. Jenner goes in to chase it. Bach there as well. Centering pass. High for Stacy. Shot blocked. She gets it right back though. And it's directed to the near corner. Bach trying to walk out in front. Almost centered for Stacy. Now cleared to the line. Colzer with a shot. Looked like a slap pass intended for Bach actually. Cleared out down the ice. And an icing call against the Kessel Wolves. Scamora fired that one down.
Yeah, the Wolves name obviously coming from the Whitby Wolves support their minor girls organization stepping up and having their name and having their minor organization name on the PWHPA is really making that connection of what the Dream Gap Tour is about. And great to see some of the girls in their Whitby Wolves jerseys out today.
And we got a few of those teams. The Oakville Hornets also a big proponent. Scarborough Sharks helping out Natalie Spooner's team as Larocque. Team Larocque gets it in the offensive zone. It's turned over though. Carried right back now by Pankowski. Pankowski one too many stick handles and she lost control, so it's cleared out to center now. Carried over the line by Richards, just dumped in to the far corner. Flanagan spins away from the forecheck of McParlin, goes around to the other side, but McParlin's still tracking her. And finally able to get a pass off to Pankowski. That's off the skate of Costa. Gets into the offensive zone though. Larocque takes over though. And McParlin trying to poke that through. Carrying it in, got it right back off the mishandle, and Team Kessel taking over, carrying it out through center. Pankowski trying to step around the defense and throws it just wide of the net. Futo just throws it weakly on net. Howe with an easy save. And now up the far side, here's Costa in the offensive zone. She's only got one teammate to help her out, and she was just ambushed and lost the puck. That's behind Emily Janiga. So Kessel had to regroup. Futo gobbles up the loose puck, skates it herself over the blue line in the offensive zone. Shot wide of the net, follows up, gets it back to the line, but mishandled by Zalewski. And now a nice little drag move by Rattray to get in, and she's alone. Rattray stopped by Burt.
Yeah, great save by Burt. Rattray trying to open her up, going wide, and
we got the first penalty of the game. Looks like it's going against Shannon Stewart for slashing. As she took her opponent into the corner off the breakaway from Rattray.
That was a tough angle, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I saw it, but you know what? The refs are down at ice level, so there you go.
And sometimes that can't happen where the referee's on the other side, and they think they see something, but it's through a bunch of players, and it maybe wasn't the best angle for them.
Yeah, and I mean, incredible job by Katie Burt there with her composure. Obviously, a great rush from a great player in Jamie Rattray.
It's now an opportunity for Team Kessel to go up 2-0. Jenner can't clear it out off a body. Marvin spinning away from Jenner, taking it into the in deep, around back of the net. On the far side, Keller can't maintain control, but Skamora, with the help of Keller, works it into the far corner, back out to the line. This is Emily Matheson. Tried to hit Marvin on the far side. And that pass was intercepted and cleared out and down the ice.
Gigi Marvin, probably one of the more decorated players on the ice, a 7-time world champion and 3-time Olympic medalist, and also a 2-time Patty Kaznon. So
Marvin took the puck away there from Larocque. Matheson carries it in. Back up to the line for Keller. Across for Grusha, was in her skates. The bouncing puck, she just directed it in the near corner. It's tied up and right near the red line, and referee decides to blow it down.
Yeah, good job by Team Larocque so far, kind of keep them to the outside. Team Kessel's definitely looking to find those seams, and you know, if they do, it's a huge threat. They've got some firepower up front. As I was saying, Gigi Marvin.
Face-off won by the Wolves. Taken away by Richards, but she can't get enough power on it to get it out. Pankowski back to the line for Ghilardi. Looking for an option, throws it to the far side for Grusha. In deep for Skarupa. Centering pass, bobbled by Ghilardi, but she knocked it just wide of the net. Howe was down. Pankowski back at the line. This is Flanagan in deep, bouncing puck in the slot. Grusha couldn't find it, and Ghilardi knocked it just over top of the net. Extended pressure as the penalty comes to an end for Team Kessel. That's knocked wide as well, and out of the box now is Stewart.
Yeah, great job by Ghilardi there, just popping in and out of that quiet zone, and she's got 2 opportunities on net because of it.
Pankowski drove the net, and Howe's lost her stick. Looked like it was knocked out of her hand by Bolden. And Stewart knocked it out into the Wolves zone. Bounced out. Samoskevich couldn't quite handle it. Bolden upends Janiga in the far corner. Puck comes out in front, but taken away by Aid and carried in now by McParlin. A backhand shot misses the far side. Brown trying to dig it out. Brown battling with Zafuto. Zafuto drags it, sends it up left wing side for Samoskevich. She just dumps it in, goes off for a change, so Howe plays it, and she plays it right out of play.
Yeah, Zafuto is no stranger to the corners. As I was looking up her college career, she averaged roughly a penalty and a point per game in the 18-19 season. So, you know, not surprising to see her in the corner roughhousing a little bit. It kind of seems to be a little bit of her MO. But she puts points on the boards too, so, you know, what can't she do?
And there's Erica Howe, career .917 in 5 years in the CWHL. It's her save percentage. Yep. All for Markham.
Clarkson Cup champion. You know, can't say enough about Howe. She's a great teammate, great player. So she's just out here doing her thing to keep the PWHPA moving.
She's been keeping her team in it right now. Jenner gave it away behind the net. Comes out to the short side, and that's stopped by Howe. Now Bach is away. Victoria Bach. Rattray driving the net. Bach off the pad of Burt, and it bounces back out in front and snagged out of the air by Burt.
Great composure by Burt there, just holding tight to that short side post, and obviously you can see here Bacher's looking for that cross ice pass to find Rattray and just didn't have the option. It was a great save.
And Katie Burt, a staple now in net for the American squad. She's had now in her second rivalry series. Made her debut last year.
Yeah, it's amazing to see her out, and an honor roll student throughout her time at Boston College. So, you know, us goalies, we got some gray matter between the ears.
Rattray in the far corner, takes it round back of the net to the near side, left it for Bach. She stick handled a little too hard, lost control of it. Back of the net, Keller dances away from Jenner, gives off a pass. And it's carried in now by Myers. Skamora knocked off the puck, but followed up by Pankowski, and that bobbled, and Howe had to get across as Matheson got a quick shot on the near side here.
A bit of an awkward play at that short side here. You'll see Erica Howe, first of all, just an absolute yard sale on the boards there. And Howie a little off balance. Good for Matheson for realizing that, trying to get a shot on net really quick.
Keller at the line, winds and fires and scores! A redirection in front. And Keller with the initial shot. We'll see who leads the pack. And it's one of the 27s. Take a look, it's Pankowski. Must have got a stick on it. We'll check the replay, but it's a 2-0 lead for Team Kessel. I think she does get her stick on it there. Just
slightly off camera there, but I think Pankowski got a handle on it. So she's making quite the name for herself in this game.
Pankowski with her second. She's right back in, but Skamora lost handle. And just out of the reach of Stacy on the transition. Bolden in her own zone. Watched there by Marvin. Pass ahead. Now Stacy trying to carry it in. She's pressured. Regained control of the puck, and the centering pass is tipped away, but held in by Aid. Stacy on it again. No, that's Costa. Passes over to Stacy, and a shot was stopped by Bert. Costa now in the far corner. Tries to work it out in front. Colzer couldn't handle it, and the Wolves get it out to center. Right back in deep. This is Aid. I think we had all 3 sevens on the ice at one point there.
Just to keep you on your toes.
Yeah. Bolden bounces it back behind the net for Aid. Now up the near side for McParlin. She carries it through neutral ice and into the offensive zone. She left it for Brown, but it was just out of her reach. And now there's a scramble for the puck in the far corner. McParlin comes out with it. Sends it to the line. Bolden, long wrist shot, tipped by Brown. Bert stopped that. Colzer at the line again. Brown. She's looking for a redirect as well in front, but sent that wide. McParlin to Larocque. Jocelyn Larocque walks in and scores! What an open lane for Larocque, and she roofed that one past Bert, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, it was a good tie-up in front of the nets, and similar to the first goal on Erica Howe, just taking away the goalie's eyes for a second, and Jocelyn Larocque steps in the lane.
Woo. Almost knocked the water bottle off the net there.
That's our emergency services line with McParland, who's working for the Toronto Police, and Nicole Brown, who's the Toronto Firefighters. So nice to see those girls on the ice having a little connection out there.
Well, you can't say enough about our emergency service first responders. And you're a part of that service, of course, as well. Now for it in the Wolves zone. Pass taken away by Samoskevich. Myers tries to knock it out. Janiga, pass out of the reach of Samoskevich, and icing waved off, though. Matucci probably could have played that, so linesman decides to wave it off. Myers didn't know where it was. It was in her equipment for a moment as King had tried to play it. Now it's pinned up right in front of us here at the near side red line. Now it's cleared out into the offensive zone by King, and they get a wholesale change going, Team Larocque. This is Keller. Bounced off the boards. A little mishandled by Wallace-Chuck. He's got to be sharp. Hickey was pressuring her. And here goes Bach again. Bach aiding through Give it off to Jenner. Pass back out in front. Knocked down by Rattray, but she couldn't corral it. And out come the Wolves. Good back check by Bach to knock that pass away from Keller. Now over to the far side for the Wallace shot. Banked off the boards. Shots got past Pankowski. And now Rattray is away. Pass into the middle for Bach. Bach with a toe drag right for Rattray, and one too many passes. Rattray had an open lane, but she tried to hit Jenner just to get Burt moving a little bit more. And Jenner couldn't get her stick on it. Flanagan in the offensive zone for the Wolves. Bach picked off that pass, and it's bounced now to the front of the net. Sent just wide. Stacy going to come up with it in her own zone. Works it to the line. Gallardi held it in with the help of Zalewski. And Scamora takes control, wraps it out in front. No Wolves there. Sent over the net by Zalewski. And Jenner now in the far corner. Aids there as well. Jenner throws it to the near side for Bolden. And feathers it out to center. Good knockdown by Jones, but couldn't quite contain the puck. Flipped cross ice in deep. The far side.
I'm gonna change my shutter speed again.
As we enter the final minute here, the first period. Dumped in deep. Zafuto back for it. Steps around Stacy. Cleared out into the neutral zone. Dumped in Greco, I believe. One of the 15s. And knocked down with a high stick, so play is stopped. And a little moment there between, I think,
Jess Jones and Emma Greco.
Jones.
Yeah, of course, they were teammates in Buffalo probably 2 or 3 seasons ago now. So, you know, used to seeing each other at the rink, probably not opposing each other, but it's great to see that, you know, that friendship kind of persists.
Face off outside the Team Larocque zone. Back by Costa. Larocque on it. Sends it to the near side for McParland, was in her feet. So she has to come back for it. Returns it to Larocque. Tries to spring Costa now through center. Costa stopping up, centering pass through the legs of Nicole Brown.
Nice save through traffic there from Burt.
Errant pass just makes its way down on Howe, and that does it for the first period. 2-1 score for Team Kessel over Team Larocque, and 2 goals in a big game from Annie Pankowski so far this afternoon, Liz.
Yeah, she's getting into the right areas and creating opportunities for herself. Her teammates seem to be looking to find her, and she's, like you say, she's made no mistake capitalizing on those chances.
And there's that last save from Bird on Matucci. As we will take a break and be back here for the second period of the first game of the Secret Deodorant Dream Gap Tour. Stop here at North York at Herbert Carnegie Arena.
Visibility is probably the #1 thing for growing in the women's game. Growing up, I always felt like people didn't take my dream seriously of wanting to play professional women's sports. So being able to be on TV for young girls to watch us and to see us, and they can take away from us role models that it is possible to follow your dreams and to get to a point where you can play sports for a living. We need to continue to create a strong fan base, and female sports is only going to take off from there.
Heading into World Championships in 2017, I think that's when we were like, let's take a stand. We had the right group of girls in the room that knew we could stand up against USA Hockey and fight for equal pay. For us to be able to sacrifice that tournament, put it on the line, was a huge statement from our end. There's still conversations that need to be had, but USA Hockey's done a great job putting their best foot forward right now, and we're excited to continue to work with them. It's an exciting moment for women's hockey.
And we're back, actually. We've got our very own Liz Knox has run down to the other side of the rink and for an interview with the 2-goal scorer, Annie Pankowski.
Hey, I'm down here ringside with Annie Pankowski. 2 goals already on the day. Flew in from Madison last night. Tell me a little bit about your first period.
Yeah, I mean, it was really fun. I think everyone's just getting used to playing with each other. It's our first time together, so it was a lot more organized than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be a little crazy, but it was actually a great period.
Yeah, you guys certainly found your chemistry there in a short period of time. Talk a little bit about what the Dream Gap Tour means to you and why it's important.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those things that it needs to be done, and we need to go to all these places and show the girls in the area, the fans in the area, that we're here and our product is just as good as the men, and we can bring a good game too.
You heard it first. Annie Pankowski, 2 goals already. We're only 20 minutes in.
Thank you, Liz. We're making you work here in the first intermission, but we'll be back once again after the break here for the second period between Team Larocque and the Kessel Wolves.
There wasn't one tipping point that set us off to, fight for women's rights and equal pay. Our contract hadn't changed in over 20 years, and we had the right group of girls in the room that knew we could stand up against USA Hockey and fight for equal pay. Heading into World Championships in 2017, I think that's when we were like, let's take a stand. We're not going to end up going to World Championships unless we get the right and correct support from USA Hockey. And so for us to be able to sacrifice that tournament, put it on the line, was a huge statement from our end. It was awesome to see how much support we had around the U.S., all the youth teams, college teams leading into the tournament. We showed up only a couple days before, and I knew we were going to win the tournament heading in, even without the pre-camp and preparation. I think we just had an unbreakable bond that no one could really stand up against. So at the NHL All-Star game, I ended up doing pretty well, but I didn't understand the hype and everything, or the hashtag #PayDecker until maybe the next day, the next morning, I realized my phone was blowing up pretty good. There was a young fan, a young girl who ended up videotaping it, and that's what made everything blow up and be an exciting moment for women's hockey. I think there's still some work to be done as far as working with USA Hockey and making sure that we're getting everything that we do deserve. There's still conversations that need to be had, but USA Hockey's done a great job putting their best foot forward right now, and we're excited to continue to work with them. Advice to younger girls playing, just be fearless out there. You're gonna have people who are gonna tug away at you and wanna tear you down, but just be fearless and have fun with what you're doing.
I got a call that said, you're going to be the first woman to compete in the NHL All-Star Skills Competition. As soon as the whistle blew, I just went, and 14.346 seconds later, that's the moment you dream about. Leading up to the All-Star weekend, I didn't really know the conversations that were being had up until 4 hours before when I got a call that said, you're going to be the first woman to compete in the NHL All-Star Skills Competition. I was so excited because I knew this moment was going to break a lot of barriers, it was going to open a lot of doors, and it was going to change the landscape of women's hockey forever. When I got to the starting line, I do remember feeling the pressure of knowing that I cannot fall, I cannot stumble. You have to have a clean run or the narrative changes to "I told you so." The women don't belong. As soon as the whistle blew, I just went and everything was a blur. And 14.346 seconds later, here we are. It was a moment that proved women belong in the sport of ice hockey, and a moment that all of us have worked so hard for. That's the moment you dream about. We were able to showcase ourselves at the NHL level, and so I think it's time that we start to get the respect that we deserve. We're put in the same conversation. We're all hockey players. There's a lot of stereotypes that come with playing a sport that's considered male dominant. I've heard it all. I've been told I'm not big enough, not strong enough. So just to be a visible, living proof that you can accomplish anything you set your mind to, regardless of your size, it is pretty cool, and it just makes me so excited to see all these young girls sending videos to me of them skating and doing their lap, and now they can aspire to compete in the NHL All-Star Skills Competition because that barrier has been broke.
Growing up, I played on a guys' team. There weren't many girls playing that I knew of, so that was really my only option. There were some teams that would say that I didn't belong in the ice, like, why are you playing guys hockey? And that didn't stop me. I just wanted to get better, and I knew I was talented enough to be there and I deserved to be playing. So if anyone ever went through what I had went through, and I think just use it as motivation and prove them wrong. Just be strong and fight for what you believe in and what you want. I was almost born into playing hockey. My dad played, and my two older sisters and older brother played at the time. So when I was 4 years old, I started playing in the outdoor rink, actually. It was like -30, and I was just having the time of my life. And so I think that's when I started to fall in love with hockey. Growing up, I played on a guys' team. There weren't many girls playing that I knew of, so that was really my only option. There were a lot of aspects of it that were challenging. There were some teams that would say that I didn't belong in the ice, like, why are you playing guys hockey? And that didn't stop me. I just wanted to get better, and I knew I was talented enough to be there and I deserved to be playing. And I had a lot of support. I had a great team that I was on and great coaching staff, and they all believed in me, and I think it really helped me develop as a hockey player. So if anyone ever went through what I had went through, and I think just use it as motivation and prove them wrong. You know, don't let anyone bring
Visibility is probably the #1 thing for growing the women's game. Growing up, I always felt like people didn't take my dream seriously of wanting to play professional women's sports. So being able to be on TV for young girls to watch us and to see us, and they can take away from us role models that it is possible to follow your dreams and to get to a point where you can play sports for a living. When I was about 10 years old, I had the opportunity to attend Becky Keller's female hockey camp. Becky Keller is a 4-time Olympian for the Canadian national team, and that was really my role model. Getting in the community is super important, and that's why I started my own hockey camp in the summer to hopefully inspire girls just like Becky Keller did that for me. In order for them to stay in sport, to continue playing sport, to sign up for sport, they need to have those female role models, and I take a lot of pride in that. There's a lot of talent in female athletes in professional sports, and we need to continue to create a strong fan base, and that starts with the whole sports industry taking part, and that's from media, that's from sponsorship, that's from brands. As soon as we get them all on board, we'll start to increase that fan base, and then female sports is only going to take off from there.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Herbert Carnegie Arena out in North York. Just about ready for the drop of the puck of the second period. Jared Bapty and Liz Knox with you. And we saw a couple of goals from Annie Pankowski, who you just chatted with. What are you expecting for the second period?
Yeah, I think that the Team Kessel Wolves have done a really good job spreading their attack, and we saw from Team Larocque them getting in just a little bit too tight. So try to reduce the gaps in their D zone for Team Larocque, and at the same time, maybe create some offense. But credit to Team Kessel. I mean, they came in here, most of them flew in last night. Some of them practice together, but some of them don't. And the chemistry that they're showing on the ice, the maturity and the hockey IQ is obviously second to none, and that's why they're the best players in the world.
Yeah, almost no jet lag whatsoever for any of these women. And I did notice when I was putting my rosters together that most of these teams are kind of sorted by region for this tournament, and it's for at least the Kessel Wolves. They're kind of, most of these women are from kind of the tri-state area, kind of Boston, New York areas, and so maybe not too far of a flight depending on where they were when they had to jump on a plane. But to arrive last night and then come here less than 12 hours, really.
Yeah, and that's, what, it's a sad reality, but that's not anything new to women's hockey players. When I played in the league, we played as soon as, 10, 12 hours after we had flown to China. So for them to hop on a plane last night and get to stay at a hotel and then play later on today, later on in the morning, is actually, that's actually a treat for some of these players, because we're used to traveling the same day that we play. So when we talk about what we're looking for the future of women's hockey, it's a great point. We want to be able to fly in, a day or two before and acclimatize to, our regions, and maybe even get on the ice for a pregame skate. We're not asking for outlandish things here. We're not asking for $1 million contracts. We're asking, let us have a sleep before we get on the ice and perform. And as a result, we can put a better product on the ice.
Exactly. I mean, flying to China and playing a game 10 hours later, that's some jet lag.
We were on the plane longer than our break before we played hockey.
Wow.
So, and you're setting yourselves up for injury. So.
Wow, and it looks like we had a bit of an error with the clock, but it's fixed now, so we're underway for the second period. Flanagan bounced that over to Gilardi, and that was almost lost in the feet of the referee for a moment. And it's allowed Team Larocque to at least press a little bit, and cleared it back into the offensive zone. Out of the near side, Pankowski Banked it off the boards and out for Marvin. The pass was in the skates of Skamora, though. And Bach takes over. Off the far boards. Taken right back by the Wolves. And Marvin dropped it for Gilardi, who sent it right back in. Sounded like it was off the equipment of Marvin. As now Rattray and Bach break out. Bach driving the net. Jenner wires one just over top of the net. Gruschow picked it up and carries it out through center with Pankowski. Dragging, and that one just tipped wide off Howe.
Pankowski again with a great pull and release there. Just changed the angle enough.
Rattray from her knees. Got that over to Jones, and Jones whistled it wide.
We're seeing as the players settle in here a little bit more offense, a lot more creativity, and it's only going to continue as the game goes on.
Gruschow got it back to Zalewski. She's bumped off the puck. Wallace-Chuck left it for Stacy, who turns on the Jets up the right wing side. Stacy in deep, round back of the net. Centering for Jones, and that's stopped by Burt.
Zalewski, I don't know if she's laboring a little bit or if she's got some equipment malfunctions. She kind of got clipped awkwardly at the blue line there by, I believe it was Larocque. We'll see it here. Oh, this is the Rattray pass.
Rattray lost her footing as she was breaking out of the zone and then kind of couldn't quite regain her balance, but still had the puck as she crossed the red line, and then from her knees crossing into the offensive zone was able to get a pass off. I mean, some incredible hands.
Yeah, very nifty puck control from Rattray.
Pass is off a skate, but regained and knocked back now to Matheson. She's pressured by Stacy. Right out to center, though. Here's Bolden. Getting away from Skarupa, almost pickpocketed. Managed to get it out to center. Here goes Jones now. Carrying it into the offensive zone. Chipped it just out of the reach of Stacy. Taken back by Keller. Banks it off the boards for Janiga. Just out of her reach, though. Samoskevich kept it in. Here's Matheson now. Going to drive the net. Sharp side. Stopped by Howe. And the puck was loose. Into the near side. Kolzer. Tied up by Pankowski. And taken by McParlin. Costa. Bounced away from her. And Pankowski thought she was going to get it. Here goes Gilardi, though. Off the puck and cleared off the glass and out to center. Flanagan back on it for the Wolves. Pass ahead for Myers. Flipped on net. Howe directs that to the far side. And Samoskevich couldn't corral the puck. Flipped back out to center as the puck just is kind of changing hands here. Not really any pressure on either side at the moment. Again, intercepted by Stewart. Shannon Stewart carries it in. Right to hit Costa in front. Her stick is checked. And the far corner, King. Looking for an option. Carries it. Give it off. Stewart. Pass out for Aid. Couldn't quite control it. Matucci has to rush back as Pankowski almost came up with the puck. Now she does. Centering it for Vela. Backhanded bounce just wide. In that far corner, Hickey took it to the near side, bounced it back for Greco, and across for Zafuto. Her shot was tipped by Pankowski, looking for a redirect and a hat trick, but she got too much of it and it didn't get on net. Pankowski directs that into the offensive zone. Matucci back to the net for Aid. Long lead pass, tipped in by Stewart. They go off for a change.
Ella Matucci, a multi-sport athlete, obviously playing on the national team for baseball and playing pro women's hockey and kicking the puck out of the front of the net there, so perhaps a future career in soccer as well.
Rattray's shot is blocked in front. She got the puck again, though, and fired it just wide. Comes to it again, and the rolling puck off the heel of her stick.
Yeah, maybe a little frustration on that first missed shot. Oh, here comes
Bach
Bach.
right back in. Victoria Bach chipped it right into the glove of Burt.
Yeah, almost looked like she was maybe looking to give a self-pass off the pads there, just trying to float one in, see if she could get a rebound, but Burt made no mistake getting that glove nice and low and scooping it up.
Maybe that. She also had Rattray coming in, maybe looking for a rebound pass or a cross-crease pass. But Burt making the save. Now here comes the Wolves. Keller, centering pass, too much on it. Bounces right back into control of Scamora, and Howe flashing leather a little bit on that save. Just under 15 minutes left in the second period.
Yeah, Scamora with the nice chance on net there, and when I was researching some of her history, 111.
Oh no! Miscommunication in front of the net, and Blake Bolden had the puck poked away from her right in front, and it bounced right between the legs of Howe. And I think Zalewski was the one who got her stick on it.
Yeah, just an unfortunate draw there. Kristen Richards with the win, and it just kind of bobbled on them a little bit.
So 3-1 now for the Kessel Wolves, and Team Larocque has some work to do. Zalewski had a bit of trouble getting off the ice there, almost too many players. But Kessel's in now. Backhand shot, rebound off the post. And Team Larocque trying to take over. Battle for the puck behind the net. Bolden lost it in her skates. Bounces out in front, taken away by Stacy, and she carries it out through center now. Laura Stacy tried to split the D. Was met by a couple of sticks and rung it around to the far side. Grushow passed over to Keller. She couldn't drag it with her. And so the Wolves have to retreat. Bolden directed in by Stacy. Myers went to pick up her stick. I'm not sure how she lost it, but it's just there out of the blue line as Costa is pinned up by Gallardi. That was lost into the feet of the ref again. And that's taken away by Grushow. Pass ahead and intercepted. Grushow's knocked down by Costa as McParlin tries to work in, and she's thrown to the ice too. 8 at the line. Sent in for McParlin behind the net. Tried to come out with it. She was worked over by Gallardi. And Skarupa sent that behind for Gallardi as they set up the breakout.
Gallardi, of course, a member of the PWHPA board, and really taking control of some of our social media accounts and making sure that our voice is, projecting what we're trying to portray and being heard.
So Moskovich now with speed down the left wing side. Banks it in deep, gives chase herself. Aid gets there first though. Stewart bounced it to the far side. King directed it for Jones. Nope, that's Colzer who fired it just over top of the net. Comes right out for King. Good play with her left leg to stop that with her skate and get an opportunity, but Bird standing tall once again.
Yeah, Kelsey Colzer really leads this rush with a nice little touch pass there from King, and you can see Colzer comes over the line, gets a shot on net. She, of course, was the first African-American to be selected first overall in what we know as pro draft. A psychology major and a head coach right now at Arcadia University.
It's a lot of titles there.
Yeah, she's actually starting the Division III program there. So I was talking to her before the game, and she's in charge of all of her own recruiting right now. She's the only staff member, and they're trying to get this program up and off the ground. So really a testament to what these women are working to do to continue to develop the women's hockey and the sport in general.
Face-off won by Team Larocque, and Jocelyn Larocque has it now, banks it off and down the ice. He's out of the reach of Bach, but Team no icing, and Bach takes over, just falls as she tried to sweep that back out in front. Zafuto, good back check by Rattray. The puck's loose in the slot, Howe managed to keep that out. Greco at the line, kept in. Larocque spins away from pressure. And a nice lead pass for Rattray. She tipped it in. And now with a slap shot off the near post. Rattray is really grinding for a goal right now.
Yeah, Team Kessel Wolves, I think, getting away with a little bit of a hook on Victoria Bach there as she was walking out in front of the net.
Down to the net. Zalewski got it back to the line for Matheson. Across for Keller. Return to the high slot for Zalewski. Tried to ricochet that one on net off her stick, but went into the near corner now. Box lost her stick. Looked like Matheson got up into her hands again a little bit. No call. And now Bolden lost handle of it. Centering pass cut by Jenner. And Brianne Jenner tries to hit Stacy with a pass. Stacy muscle off the puck by Keller. And Matheson takes it behind her own net. That's formerly Folzer, if anybody's confused.
Yeah, it took me a second. She's a stature on the ice that you really can't forget, and she's got incredible speed, great hands to match, and you know, obviously her name speaks for herself now.
In the offensive zone, upended, and now we're getting a penalty call. As Gigi Marvin was tripped up on the far boards. Howe making the stop, and Team Kessel going back to the power play.
Yeah, it looks like it was Kristen Richards, who currently working at a private school here in Toronto, De La Salle, as a guidance counselor. So she's going to take a moment to think about her actions right now. She's having a few words with the linesman there.
And the music team has decided to pull the penalty song from the World Juniors, this infamous tune from the Czech Republic. Definitely one of the highlights of that tournament for me. And now, Team Kessel setting up. Shot just wide. Sent back to the line for Flanagan. She walks the blue line, takes it into the near side. Pass across. Fired just over top of the net by Myers. Scamora maintains control of the puck on the near side. Gets it back to the line for Gallardi. Return to the top of the near circle and takes a couple of bounces from Scamora and just wide, and now into the near corner. Leading it out is Myers. Left it for Marvin. And she returns it to the line again. Give and go with Marvin. Shot through traffic, comes back out in front, and Howe had to push one side to the other to stop that one. Scamora still on the puck. Got it back for Gallardi. Slap shot. Blockered away by Howe. And it comes back to the line, held in. Taken away by Bolden and backhanded out and down the ice.
Yeah, and we've talked a few times about the World Junior. Oh, great breakout pass there.
And Skarupa's right back in. Pass for Gershow. Comes back out in front. Howe with another save on this penalty kill.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you know, we talk a lot about the World Junior Championship, and of course, you know, everyone's tuned in, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the U18 World Championship, and of course the U.S. taking that one in overtime. And if you had the chance to watch the streaming of the final game, it was quite an entertaining match between those two teams. And, you know, yeah, I knew that one was coming.
And we got our first penalty of the game against Team Kessel.
And yeah, just so aligned with what the PWHPA is trying to advocate for here. And, you know, if you did try to tune into the U18 Championship prior to them changing the videography of it, you know, yes, we call it the doorbell cam. And we're really just striving to create a future where, you know, we see these athletes on the same stage that we see the young men. They've worked equally as hard their whole lives, practiced as hard, often training with the same strength and conditioning coaches as the men. And, you know, it's about time that we see them on the same stage.
Well, and that fisheye cam really got a lot of attention on Twitter. I remember being like, what is this? You can't even see either end of the ice.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's some pets of players in the league that have a better nest than that camera.
Oh, definitely. So now we got a little bit of 4-on-4 with Brianne Jenner. Stick handling, gave it off to Matucci on the near side. Matucci got a weak shot in front. Rattray got a little bit of a rebound there. Burt got fallen on slightly, but she managed to find the puck. And you know, I got to tune into the at least the gold medal game. Very well fought game by Team Canada, just unfortunately falling in overtime. But I do like my sleep, and those 6:30 a.m. starts for some of the other games were a little too much for me.
A little early for you, eh, Jared?
Yeah.
That's all right.
I was following along.
We'll live to see the day that, you know, those games
Whoa!
are a little bit more accessible and perhaps even played at better times, although there's nothing you can do about time change across the world.
Yeah, and of course the men's tournament will be here in Canada and Alberta next year, and I'm not too sure where the women's tournament is. Does that come to Canada anytime soon?
The World Championship, I believe, is out in Nova Scotia this year.
Yeah, the big girls are.
Mm-hmm.
I meant the U18s.
You know what? I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that one.
I'll have to check that one out. Jenner at the top of the near circle finds Rattray on the far side, and on the rebound, she knocked it in.
Yeah, Rattray's kind of been hanging out around that blue paint looking for that goal, so nice to see her tally one off.
She's been really fighting for one, and there she gets one on the power play. And so now it's 3-2. Team Kessel still up by 1.
And Brianne Jenner there with a very smart, you know, fake shot, looking for Rattray on the back door, just sneaks in. And great, very well-timed play out by two, you know, world-class players.
Stacy right back into the offensive zone. Sent it on net. It's directed to the near side by Burt. Jones in deep for Stacy. Lost control of it. Myers got it out. Jankowski trying to flip it. And Samoskevich actually. Samoskevich gets it to the line, not out. Slap pass in front from Aid. I think she was trying to get a redirect from Stacy. And now it's cleared out into the Larocque zone. Pass ahead, tipped in. Right on net. Burt left it. Matheson takes it back for Myers. And Myers looking for the pass. She finds Zalewski up the right wing side. Zalewski into the middle, and Skarupa, or Skamora almost had a goal there, left alone in front. Just bounced on net by Brown, so Burt decides to slow things down a little bit to cover up.
Yeah, we're seeing the players settle in a little bit more here. Nice little float pass through the neutral zone to Zalewski there. And of course, making no mistake, finding her player in the center. A great chance on that. So the girls are obviously finding their chemistry, and we'll just see more of that as the game goes on.
Gigi Marvin shocked that she's been thrown out of the
Yeah, we're not really
face-off.
sure what happens there.
No, she was allowed to take it anyways. I guess it was just a warning. She lost the face-off. Brown sends it in deep. Costa can't come up with it. Flanagan off the near boards for Skamora. And just offside, Brown was bumped ahead of the pass from Pankowski. And down goes Costa on the left wing side on her offhand. Costa stops up, run it back. The line, wall is shut. Directed just wide, tipped in front by Costa. And Flanagan tries to reverse it to the near side for Skamora. Just muscled out. And goes Gigi Marvin now. Dropped it for Pankowski. I don't think she was expecting that. She was ready to go off for a change. And now Marvin does the same. Bolden spinning away from pressure. Skarupa. Just out of the reach of Costa. And so carry on here with the Wolves. Out through center, Greco with a pass for Gruchow. Lost it in her skates, and Larocque and Myers collided a little bit, but cleared out. Richards takes over. She lost it in her feet too, and could be a 2-on-1 here for the Wolves. Larocque trying to get back. Myers with a slap shot. The rebound kicked out and knocked away. Matucci to the near corner, but it's taken away. Got it back to the line. Greco. Cross for Zafuto. Sent in deep. Matucci. Myers lost her footing. And banked out and down the ice by Team Larocque. Keller. On her own net. Looks for an option. Takes the center lane. Threaded on through for Zalewski now with it. Zalewski watched by Bach. Bounced in deep for Myers. Myers back to Samoskevich, and he misfired on her shot. Bach giving chase against Matheson, took it away from Matheson. Bach with a backhander. That was blocked in front. Rattray followed up. Rattray's pass, couldn't get it off. She regained control. Bach looking for another pass in front. Rattray with a wraparound. And Burt stopping that one too.
Yeah, Victoria Bach, showing why the Ice Garden recently named her as the #2 on the top 25 under 25. She just creates opportunity for herself. She's extremely fast, and if she gets in alone and she's got that top corner, she's going to make you pay for it.
And there was Howe leaving a bit of a juicy rebound for Myers, and Bach on the other side with that opportunity. Thinking about it, maybe a second too long. Maybe should have just shot it.
Yeah, absolutely. But, right idea, and I think that's kind of what the hockey IQ of these players, looking to create opportunities, other than just standard shots on net, and it's shot selection. And there, like you say, maybe a little earlier would have helped her cause, but the right decision in the end.
Thrown out to center, Colzer. Fanned on her pass, Janiga intercepted that. Janiga tried to hit Samoskevich in front. Aid, not enough on it. Aid trying again, be worked over by Hickey.
Rachel Aid, an application engineer at a software company, originally from Davenport, Florida. So, we've got engineers. Actually, I believe Kelly Gribbins was on the ice earlier. She's also a communications engineer. So, again, just these women with incredible education backgrounds and out here playing pro hockey.
Stacy drove the net but couldn't get a shot off. Bolden, slap shot. And Wallace Shuck also tried to get that on net, but that was blocked. Flanagan and McParlin collide as Flanagan tried to step around her. But she managed to get it ahead. Now it's in Larocque zone. Pass for Brown, knocked away from her by Pankowski, but Bolden followed up. Bolden glanced away by Pankowski. Pankowski right back into the offensive zone. She rips a shot just wide. Down for the puck now, taken away by Costa. And Costa tried to chip it off the boards, but it didn't have the right angle. Pankowski for Scamora. Scamora worked over by a couple of Team Larocque players. Couldn't get a good shot away. Pankowski takes over again. Poked away from her by Costa. Costa flips it off the glass. Just got out.
Annie Pankowski, just water beetle mode out here. She just seems to be everywhere and creating opportunities for herself and her line mates.
Costa sent that in deep. And Team Larocque goes for a change, so Burt played it. And Myers got the pass ahead. Greco actually. Myers on the puck now, bouncing around in the far corner. Jenner prevented her from taking possession. Pass just out of the reach of Bach. Zafuto takes over, bounced that. Goes off a couple of players. Matucci left for Larocque. Up ahead for Bach now on the near boards. Almost taken away from her by Grushow. So Larocque helps her out. Over to Matucci. And up ahead, Jenner couldn't come up with it. Keller carrying it into the far corner. Wrapped it round to the near side. Bach flipped the head for Jenner. She couldn't knock it down. And Skarupa, watched by Larocque. Knocked off the puck by Larocque. And it's clear to the line, but Matheson holds it. Just flips it to the open corner. Myers comes to it. Tipped it in deep for Skarupa. Flipped back, but Jenner took that over. And chipped it out to center. Matheson pickpocketed by Bach, but taken right back again by Grushow. Puck changing hands in the neutral zone. Flipped in. Glove down. And send ahead Rattray. Bach was stripped of the puck. And Keller now as the final seconds tick off for the second period. A couple of goals on either side, and it's 3-2 now for Team Kessel after 2.
Yeah, and like I said, as the players start to settle in and they find their chemistry, we're seeing a lot more chances on net, a little bit more creativity, and perhaps sometimes, that open space is being almost taken for granted. The girls getting in just a little tight, but putting a good show on for us today.
So a goal for Jamie Lee Rattray after working so hard in the first period to get one. She gets one on the power play in the second, and Annie Zalewski just poking one through the legs of Howe on the miscommunication in front of the net. And we'll take a break now at 3-2. Team Kessel and Team Larocque here at the Herbert Carnegie Center. We'll be right back in just a few moments.
Visibility is probably the #1 thing for growing the women's game. Growing up, I always felt like people didn't take my dream seriously of wanting to play professional women's sports. So being able to be on TV for young girls to watch us and to see us, and they can take away from us role models that it is possible to follow your dreams and to get to a point where you can play sports for a living. We need to continue to create a strong fan base, and female sports is only going to take off from there.
Heading into World Championships in 2017, I think that's when we were like, let's take a stand. We had the right group of girls in the room that knew we could stand up against USA Hockey and fight for equal pay. For us to be able to sacrifice that tournament, put it on the line, was a huge statement from our end. There's still conversations that need to be had, but USA Hockey's done a great job putting their best foot forward right now, and we're excited to continue to work with them. It's an exciting moment for women's hockey.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have another interview with Liz Knox. She's down at ringside, this time with Jamie Lee Rattray, the goal scorer for Team Larocque in the second period.
Liz Knox here after 40 minutes with Jamie Lee Rattray. You worked hard for that goal. A handful of missed opportunities before. How did it feel to get that one under the belt?
Pretty good. I think, like you said, a lot of missed opportunities. I don't even know if I put my hands in the air. I think it was more like, oh, thank God. But we've been playing really well. It's a lot of fun out here, and what a morning here so far.
And Jamie Lee Rattray, of course, owner of her own hockey school. Tell me a little bit about, coaching and the Dream Gap Tour, and why what you're doing is important for the next generation.
Well, owning my own hockey school gave me a lot of opportunities to work with a lot of young athletes, and I work with a lot of teams, and I like that because I get to see them develop over the year. And nothing better to see some of the teams here today watching us, and if they can see it, they can believe it, and that's what we're kind of trying to drive home. And more females in the game, I say better. So it's been a lot of fun doing that, and any way I can help the young kids out, I try.
Jamie Lee Rattray, producing on the ice and developing the children off the ice.
Thanks, Liz. That was once again Jamie Lee Rattray with our own Liz Knox. She'll be back up here in the booth with me for the third period when we return at Herbert Carnegie Arena.
Visibility is probably the number one thing for growing the women's game. Growing up, I always felt like people didn't take my dream seriously of wanting to play professional women's sports. So being able to be on TV for young girls to watch us and to see us, and they can take away from us role models that it is possible to follow your dreams and to get to a point where you can play sports for a living. We need to continue to create a strong fan base, and female sports is only going to take off from there.
Heading into World Championships in 2017, I think that's when we were like, let's take a stand. We had the right group of girls in the room that knew we could stand up against USA Hockey and fight for equal pay. For us to be able to sacrifice that tournament, put it on the line, was a huge statement from our end. There's still conversations that need to be had, but USA Hockey's done a great job putting their best foot forward right now, and we're excited to continue to work with them. It's an exciting moment for women's hockey. There wasn't one tipping point that set us off to, fight for women's rights and equal pay. Our contract hadn't changed in over 20 years, and we had the right group of girls in the room that knew we could stand up against USA Hockey and fight for equal pay. Heading into World Championships in 2017, I think that's when we were like, let's take a stand. We're not going to end up going to World Championships unless we get the right and correct support from USA Hockey. And so for us to be able to sacrifice that tournament, put it on the line, was a huge statement from our end. It was awesome to see how much support we had around the U.S., all the youth teams, college teams leading into the tournament. We showed up only a couple days before, and I knew we were going to win the tournament heading in, even without the pre-camp and preparation. I think we just had an unbreakable bond that no one could really stand up against. So at the NHL All-Star Game, I ended up doing pretty well, but I didn't understand the hype and everything, or the hashtag Pay Decker, until maybe the next day, the next morning, I realized my phone was blowing up pretty good. There was a young fan, a young girl who ended up videotaping it, and that's what made everything blow up and be an exciting moment for women's hockey. I think there's still some work to be done as far as working with USA Hockey and making sure that we're getting everything that we do deserve. There's still conversations that need to be had, but USA Hockey's done a great job putting their best foot forward right now, and we're excited to continue to work with them. Advice to younger girls playing, just be fearless out there. You're gonna have people who are gonna tug away at you and wanna tear you down, but just be fearless and have fun with what you're doing.
Leading up to the All-Star weekend, I didn't really know the conversations that were being had up until 4 hours before, when I got a call that said, you're going to be the first woman to compete in the NHL All-Star Skills Competition. I was so excited because I knew this moment was going to break a lot of barriers, it was going to open a lot of doors, and it was going to change the landscape of women's hockey forever. When I got to the starting line, I do remember feeling the pressure of knowing that I cannot fall, I cannot stumble. You have to have a clean run or the narrative changes to I told you so. The women don't belong. As soon as the whistle blew, I just went and everything was a blur. And 14.346 seconds later, here we are. It was a moment that proved women belong in the sport of ice hockey, and a moment that all of us have worked so hard for. That's the moment you dream about. We were able to showcase ourselves at the NHL level, and so I think it's time that we start to get the respect that we deserve. We're put in the same conversation. We're all hockey players. There's a lot of stereotypes that come with playing a sport that's considered male dominant. I've heard it all. I've been told I'm not big enough, not strong enough. So just to be a visible, living proof that you can accomplish anything you set your mind to, regardless of your size. It is pretty cool, and it just makes me so excited to see all these young girls sending videos to me of them skating and doing their lap, and now they can aspire to compete in the NHL All-Star Skills Competition because that barrier has been broke.
Growing up, I played on a guys' team. There weren't many girls playing that I knew of, so that was really my only option. There were some teams that would say that I didn't belong on the ice, and why are you playing guys hockey? And that didn't stop me. I just wanted to get better, and I knew I was talented enough to be there and I deserved to be playing. So if anyone ever went through what I had went through, and I think just use it as motivation and prove them wrong. Just be strong and fight for what you believe in and what you want. I was almost born into playing hockey. My dad played, and my two older sisters and older brother played at the time. So when I was 4 years old, I started playing on the outdoor rink, actually. It was like -30, and I was just having the time of my life, and so I think that's when I started to fall in love with hockey. Growing up, I played on the guys' team. There weren't many girls playing that I knew of, so that was really my only option. There were a lot of aspects of it that were challenging. There were some teams that would say that I didn't belong on the ice, like, why are you playing guys hockey? And that didn't stop me. I just wanted to get better, and I knew I was talented enough to be there, and I deserved to be playing. And I had a lot of support. I had a great team that I was on and great coaching staff, and they all believed in me, and I think it really helped me develop as a hockey player. So if anyone ever went through what I had went through, and I think just use it as motivation and prove them wrong. You know, don't let anyone bring
Visibility is probably the #1 thing for growing the women's game. Growing up, I always felt like people didn't take my dream seriously of wanting to play professional women's sports. So being able to be on TV for young girls to watch us and to see us, and they can take away from us role models that it is possible to follow your dreams and to get to a point where you can play sports for a living. When I was about 10 years old, I had the opportunity to attend Becky Keller's female hockey camp. Becky Keller is a 4-time Olympian for the Canadian national team, and that was really my role model. Getting in the community is super important, and that's why I started my own hockey camp in the summer to hopefully inspire girls just like Becky Keller did that for me. In order for them to stay in sport, to continue playing sport, to sign up for sport, they need to have those female role models, and I take a lot of pride in that. There's a lot of talent in female athletes in professional sports, and we need to continue to create a strong fan base, and that starts with the whole sports industry taking part, and that's from media, that's from sponsorship, that's from brands. As soon as we get them all on board, we'll start to increase that fan base, and then female sports is only going to take off from there.
We all have dreams. Ours is for a league.
A place that showcases,
celebrates, and fairly compensates
the best female hockey players
in the world.
in the world.
A place that inspires young girls
to become professional hockey players.
Or anything else they want to be.
But right now, that league doesn't exist.
There's a gap.
But we believe,
with hard work and the support of the hockey community,
Our dream for a league will come true.
so future generations of girls
Can dream big too.
can dream big too.
Can dream big too.
can dream big too.
Mamma mia, let me go.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the third period between these two teams. And if you missed it, don't worry, because everybody gets to play again tomorrow. And, I mean, it's a jam-packed weekend for everybody here. Liz, you were telling me that you've got a shoot to go to, and then you're off to the panel tonight, which I would assume some of these women are going to be at least. But it's a whole packed weekend.
Yeah, we've got 6 games on tap, obviously, including the one that we're in the middle of right now. The Dream Gap screening of the documentary put on, produced by Ailish Forfar, a former teammate of mine, and her crew. They've been following us around, basically since our first Dream Gap stop. and they're excited to screen their documentary tonight. I'll be on the panel there along with Hillary Knight and Mary Philippe. Obviously, I'll be the title panelist
of
because
course.
I'm a much higher caliber player than both of those two. But no, we're really looking forward to it. And then, like you say, 3 games on tap again tomorrow and a skills competition outside, weather permitting. We're really hoping that this rain holds off for us.
And that skills competition, of course, at Nathan Phillips Square outdoors. And where is the screening tonight?
The screening is at Paradise Theatre, which is on Bloor down in Toronto. So really looking forward to that. We actually have an industry panel before the screening. A few professors in the industry, some business leaders, just to talk about the women's model, maybe what we've missed along the way, and kind of give us some projections on how we can improve.
So again, that's 7 o'clock tonight. Doors open downtown if you're in the downtown area, and make sure to get yourself out to that.
Definitely come on by. Tickets are only $15, and it really wouldn't surprise me if this documentary got picked up by broadcast and. Because it tells our story. It tells it from the beginning, and we're very fortunate to have their commitment on this Dream Gap Tour.
All right, Team Larocque trying to tie this game up here in the third period. Chipped ahead by Bolden. Richards steps around Zafuto and gains control. Stacy works her way around back of the net to the far side. Back to the line for Wallace-Chuck. Bolden has to hold it in. Shot tipped and they score! It looks like, Jess Jones got her stick on that one, and they wasted no time tying this game up. Less than a minute in, Jones with the good stick in front makes it 3-all.
Just see the team cycling the puck around. Great job by Blake Bolden to keep that puck in, and Jones making no mistake, just knocking that puck out of the air in regulation, just underneath that crossbar.
And they're right back in offensively. Bounced it to the near corner. Skarupa trying to dig it out. Jones got it first, though. Jones works her way out in front. Shot stopped by Burt, and now a pass picked off by Skarupa. Carries it down to the offensive zone, and Howe just stopping that one nice and square to the puck.
And the last goal scored by Jess Jones on Team Larocque, she was tied in the 16-17 season. She tied Mary Philippe Poulin for most points in the CWHL. Now, to somebody who doesn't really know our situation, great, she tied Mary Philippe Poulin, who happens to be one of the best players in the world. But Jess Jones is a non-national team member. She's a full-time working professional athlete, and given the resources and her schedule, definitely not afforded the same opportunity to train as some of the national team girls. So quite an accomplishment for a non-national team member to put up those kinds of points.
Shot gloved again by Erica Howe. And as you were mentioning, of course, Jones as well, winning the Angela James Bowl for 2017. And she's a champion herself when she spent she spent some time out in Europe playing in Women's League out there for Pantera Minsk.
Yeah, very unique Jess Jones. I can say this because I know her, but a bit of a suitcase. She's played in a number of the pro leagues kind of around the world, certainly North America, and as you say, overseas. So trying to find her home.
Helped that team win the 2013 EWHL championship and has helped her team tie this game up. Knocked in by McParlin and Samoskevich. The pass ahead for Myers down the right wing side. Myers with a toe drag, and the rebound bounces out, but gobbled up by Team Larocque, and Costa now just flips that in, but McParlin was a step ahead and was offside.
Yeah, Samoskevich or Samoskevich, depending on your pronunciation, I suppose, major in psychology at Quinnipiac. So, out here with probably some alumna in Nicole Costa, Nicole Brown, and of course part of the World Championship team in the last year in 2019.
Flanagan threw that round, but Pankowski had fallen. Team Larocque takes over. Matucci, long shot, knocked away by Burt. In the corner, Gribbons came out with it. Couple of whacks at it. And Shannon Stewart almost had that on net. Now up the right wing side, here goes Pankowski. Still looking for that hat trick, maybe the game winner. It's knocked away from her though, and Greco just throws it to the open side. Oh, Gribbons is run over by Hickey as Rattray got a shot on net, though stopped by Burt. And no malintention on the collision, but wow, Gribbons felt that.
It's really a funny situation we find ourselves in here because obviously very competitive athletes and strong rivalries. But this year on the Dream Gap Tour, you look at the front of the jersey and we're all playing for the same cause. So those incidents that happen where, in a regular game that might escalate into something more, it's just kind of like, oh, sorry, man. Like, whoops. So it's funny. It's a funny situation to be in, but certainly hoping for, rivalries to come. A truly professional league for us to play in.
Oh, and Marvin with a great play to drag it through the neutral zone and pick it up. And following up on her own rebound, shoveled it past Howe. You can see gaining control of the puck here, dragging it over the blue line. And then just good drive to the net, past Bolden.
Yeah. Gigi Marvin, a veteran player, showing some wise shot selection on that one and picking up her own rebound while being hauled down by the defenseman. So just incredible play from her.
Rattray tried to bank that off the boards, but Skimura intercepted that, threw it cross ice to the far side. Wallace-Chuck and Jenner. Wallace-Chuck lost the puck. Jenner and Rattray collided as it's cleared out to center. Errant stick on the ice. Marvin's lost her stick. And so she just went off for a change. Jenner flips it into the near corner. Zafuto. Stolen away by Jenner. She threw it out in front. Knocked away from Bach. Zafuto clears it ahead for Skimura. Flips a long shot in on Howe, and with Grushow driving the net, she decides to cover up.
Sorry, some technical difficulties here. I'm up here just pushing buttons like I know what I'm doing. Somebody take this panel away from me.
No problem. Shot deflected in front, makes its way to Howe. Grushow getting her stick on it in the air once again.
Yeah, Grushow doing her best Jess Jones impression there. You see a nice little float in from the point. It's not always got to be a hard shot, but something typical, and great opportunity on net there.
Faceoffs outside the zone. Must have ruled that the deflection by Grushow.
Maybe it was a high stick?
Maybe it was a high stick. So Grushow on the puck though. Backhanded it for Keller, who sends it in deep. Howe out to play it. Aid had to be quick though, she gave it away. And a centering pass from Skarupa was blocked. Stacy now fighting for it. Collided with the ref a little bit and lost her footing. Taken away by Myers. Throws it off the boards in deep. Polzer wings it round to the near side. Keller got there just to hold it in. Only for a moment though, and it poked ahead for Richards. But Stacy was ahead of the play, and another offside call against Team Larocque.
You see the players sporting the Secret Deodorant decal on their helmets, and of course, Secret stepping up huge to title this stop in the Dream Gap Tour with their Equal Sweat campaign. And the reality is that these athletes that have played, youth sport and NCAA high-level hockey have lived virtually the same lives as the men who've grown up alongside them. Just the opportunity post-college simply isn't there. And so Secret with their Equal Sweat campaign trying to, shed some light on the situation that we're in.
Icing call against Team Larocque as they trail once again. 4-3 with just over 14 and a half minutes left in this third frame. Face off to the left of Howe. Knocked back to the line. Flipped towards the front of the net, but Costa picked that off and tries to muscle her way out to center. Glanced away by Samoskovic. Taken over by Pankowski now. Samoskovic Just knocked down by Pankowski. The bouncing puck knocked back out to center. And who's going to maintain control of it? Flipped in by McParlin. She fell, though. Couldn't give chase. So Matheson stops up. Got away from Brown, but flipped it back to Keller. And Matheson will try again. McParlin watching her. Stolen away by Costa. Brown is in her skate. Couldn't get any decent handle on the puck. Keller steps away from Stacy. That is Costa, actually. She was knocked off the puck and fell and got another stick on the ice. Pankowski this time lost her twig. And in the neutral ice area, Samoskevich finally flips it in deep. How to play it. Zalewski's right there. Had to get it away, got it to Matucci. And King helped it out to center. Gilardi knocked away from her by King, and Stewart tried to feed King. Couldn't quite get it to her. Wallace-Chuck back behind the net to Bolden. Sends it up the right wing side for King. She'll flip it cross ice. Knocked down by Flanagan. Flipped back out to center. Wallace-Chuck. Directed to Bolden. Fed on through to King, but she didn't touch it at all on its way there, and it's an icing call again against Larocque.
Yeah, and I spoke about Secret Deodorant obviously being the title sponsor of this stop on the Dream Gap Tour, but Unifor, Tim Hortons, BioSteel, the NHLPA, Budweiser, Adidas, Bauer, just some really incredible companies buying into what the PWHPA is standing for, and we're very thankful for that.
Stewart gave a pass off.
Maybe a slight high stick there.
Maybe just a bit, and yeah, the referee makes the call.
Yeah, you can see Jess Vela trying to hold off on former teammate Shannon Stewart there, trying to get her to touch the puck first so as not to get the whistle in her zone, but Stewart obviously wisely trying not to touch the puck. So we've got a face-off to the right of Burt now. A little bit of a late change there for the Kessel Wolves. Linesman seems to be okay with it, though.
Face-off one, and Rattray tried a quick shot. Couldn't get it on net. Aid pinched in. Battle in the corner. Taken away by Marvin. Then off, and pass intended for Scamora. And Colzer's a little shaken up on the play. She initially knocked the pass down, and then I think she tripped over backwards somebody's skate.
Yeah, just an awkward, kind of looked like she heel picked rather than toe picked. She just kind of took an awkward tumble there, but I believe she's staying on the ice, so.
Yeah. Kicking her right leg a little bit, but seems to be okay. Here goes Rattray. Pass just out of the reach of Bach. Bach tried to throw it on net, right in front. Rattray fired that just wide on the backhand. Aid. Neutral zone. Colzer tried to hit Bach. Rattray followed up. Slammed on the brakes, but mishandled the puck a little bit. Bach trying to take it away. Rattray comes to it, and her shot just off the shoulder of Burt. And it bounced out in front, but no Team Larocque player was there. Jenner fighting for the puck. She's pinned up, centers it out in front, and Larocque coming down, couldn't get a good shot away. Aid. Puck goes through her, and now out comes Myers. Shot just over top of the net. Larocque. Knocked away from Richards by Skarupa. Skarupa with the help of Grushow. Pankowski almost poked it away from Richards, and Richards and Larocque meet. Stacy now in the offensive zone. Dropped it back for Larocque. She couldn't control the puck. Backed it out through center. A little interference there by Larocque, but no call.
Yeah, Jocelyn Larocque plays. She plays on that fine line. She got away with one there a little bit, perhaps, but
Matheson forechecking a little bit and just kind of ups.
Exactly. Matheson definitely somebody you want to slow down every chance you can. She's got quite wheels on her.
Skarupa backpedaling, gets a shot away. And she's still on the puck to the far side. Pankowski's shot off the stick and out of play.
Our officials tonight from the OWHA here in Ontario. You know, the OWHA has been a huge supporter of women's hockey in general, and they're kind of our figurehead in Ontario. So really happy to have the support of them and have their officials out for us here.
Well, it's a great organization to officiate in as well. I myself participate as an official in the OWHA, and they're really supportive of their referees and, you know, trying to advance them as far as they can, particularly the female referees.
See, and Jared, up until now, I really liked it. No, I'm just kidding. I've had my fair share of conversations with officials, and as a goaltender, you know, it's always best to stay on their good side.
Well, exactly, because then you'll get the slashing calls when the players try and poke it out from you, right?
Precisely.
Gillardi up the far side. Stopped and got in for Costa. Costa's hauled down. Danica stripped to the puck by McParlin. She drags and fires. That was off the leg of Flanagan. Sent back out in front. They score! Costa from the far side hash mark.
I believe it was Nicole Brown with the shot.
Took a deflection.
Be able to see here on the replay. Coming from the far side, and it looked like it went far post. No replay. Okay, that's all right. It's replaying in my mind, and that's exactly what happened.
Right. Well, regardless, it is Brown, and she has tied the game. 4 apiece now with 10 minutes left to go, 9:59, and Rattray is off to the races immediately. Shot straight into the mitt of Burt.
This is exactly what we want to see, right? You know, 2 equal caliber teams, chances at both ends. We're in a nice, tight scoring game, but, you know, 8 goals already. Like, it's just incredible, and that's exactly the kind of product that, you know, these women can put on the ice night in and night out.
And possibly, I think, a warning on both centers. Puck bounces to Hickey. She wraps it for Zafuto at the reach back to pull it in, and one extra stick handle at the blue line caused her teammate to go offside.
Yeah, just getting a little excited in those gray zones, so like to get that line and get those pucks on net.
Shannon Hickey, Plymouth State University product, played with the Boston Shamrocks growing up for a little while, as well as Waltham High.
And her degree is criminal justice and law enforcement administration from Plymouth State. So maybe her and Jen McParlin can meet after and, you know, talk some law.
Talk some cop stuff. Burt knocking that away. Bach comes to it. Larocque fanned on the shot, but she got it back. Bach took over though. Bach tried to hit Rattray in deep, the near side of the net. Swept away by Hickey out to center, and Zafuto dumped it in. Matucci to Larocque. She sidesteps the forecheck, but has to get it away. Stacy and Larocque. Good forecheck by both Scamora and Marvin. Scamora has the puck now, directing it back to Keller. Keller has to be sharp. Stacy on her. Matheson comes in to help out as well. Matheson to the far side for Keller. Off the boards and out to center. Jones takes over. Poked away from Richards. Colzer to the far side for Aid. Pankowski drives the net. Pankowski couldn't get a centering pass to Gruschow. Howe's paddle was in the way, and she stopped it.
Yeah, and just looking down the rosters here, the 2 teams, and I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this, but I believe there's 14 Patty Kaz nominations on the ice currently. My mistake, actually, Amanda Kessel is included in that. Obviously, she was supposed to play today. And Jamie Lee Rattray and Amanda Kessel being the two winners of those nominations. So the Patty Kazmar Trophy obviously going to the most outstanding women's hockey player in the NCAA. So no shortage of talent on the ice and getting their due recognition there.
Keller intercepts a pass from Costa. Trying to work it in. Skarupa knocked off the puck by McParlin. Gives it off. It's carried in again by Brown. Dropped it for McParlin. Works her way to the near corner. McParlin back for aid. One-timer from Bolden knocked away by Burt.
That was actually Colzer on the point there with quite the heavy shot. No worries. I got you, Jared.
I'm getting there. Skarupa had her stick checked and stretching across with the redirect in front. Howe making the save.
You even see Janiga having a little laugh there on that one.
The redirect came right to Janiga on the short side, and Howe with the strong push across to keep this game tied.
Yeah, just kind of reaching back there, great athleticism, and as I was saying, Janiga kind of just laughing it off as, you know, just didn't quite get the bounce she needed on that one.
This is Bolden. Off the glass, the near side, King clears it out to center. Moskovich handled it for Janiga, poked away from her. Flipped right back in by the Wolves. Howe left it behind her own net for Stewart. Ahead for King now. Gribbins driving the net. Stewart with the weak shot. It was tipped on its way there. Gribbins took a swat at it, but Burt made the save. Gribbins knocked that puck down. Wolves calling for a high stick maybe. Gribbins still working in the far corner. Rattray overskated it, but got it from Gribbins again. Rattray centering pass for Bach. Couldn't quite handle it. Rattray on the short side. Stopped by Burt. Burt's lost her stick, and the Wolves can't clear it out. Burt's managed to get her stick back though. Bach now. Tried to feather it in front. Couldn't get it past. Three Wolves were in the way. Puck changing hands in front of the Wolves bench. Larocque just onside for Rattray. Return for Jenner. Jenner walks right in and just out of the reach of Bach. But they keep control. Good pressure now just taken away by Samoskovich, and pass out of the reach of Pankowski, and Pankowski wondering why that wasn't waved off. I guess there's no hybrid icing here.
Apparently not, eh? And you saw on the line, well, Jocelyn Larocque stepping up and putting some offense on the ice. So they're going to go back to center ice, it looks like. But between Jenner, Bach, Rattray, and Larocque, obviously very familiar names to the Canadian national team program, showing some chemistry and some creativity out there.
Gigi Marvin won the draw. Scamora carries it into the offensive zone now. Dropped it for Greco. Her shot straight into the glove of Howe.
Yeah, again, very threatening, right? They're getting the shots from the point with the traffic in front, trying to get a stick on it for the redirect. We're just going to see here Scamora come across the blue and drop it. Just giving her defenseman enough time to really step into that shot, and Erica Howe able to track that through traffic.
Face off to the right of Howe. Richards thrown out of the dot, or at least given a warning.
And she's back.
Looked like Stacy was going to come in, but that shot tipped out of play. Marvin was ready for it out in front.
Yeah, there's certainly a level of, kind of gray area that you see in the NHL and face-offs of linesmen being a little bit, letting the players be a little bit more aggressive perhaps. And, over time would love to see that transition into the women's side. Often I find, sometimes we're a little bit picky on our face-offs, and just let the girls play, let them, they're professional athletes, they're masters of their craft, just let them do their thing.
And the back official has a penalty call for boarding.
Laura Stacey going off the ice. She looks a little shaken up, but she's holding her own here.
Seems
Looks
to
like
be okay.
Zafudo is going to the box.
I missed the play, but Zafudo obviously took Laura Stacey into the boards a little too hard,
Yeah, it was
according to the back official.
just a kind of awkward angle for us. I think it's kind of right at our feet, so the back official was able to see that call though and made her boarding call there.
Zafudo not really happy about it. Another power play opportunity for Team Larocque. There she is now, banking it in deep to the far side. Rattray on it in the near corner. Rattray muscled into the boards by Keller, but Bach helped her out. Bach and Keller still fighting for the puck. Jenner came in, poked away, and cleared out and down the ice by Matheson. Howe left it for Larocque. Steps out the right side of the net and gave a pass off to Jones, who carries it over the line, chips it in deep. Jones came to it. Bach now in front. Bach with a shot off the body of Matheson and out to center. Jenner right back in on the offensive attack. Stops up and stripped of the puck by Pankowski, who's away shorthanded now. Pankowski almost went for the spinorama move at the side. Gave a pass off to Myers, who just directed it off the pad of Howe. Here goes Stacey now. Stacey with some speed. Dropped it for Costa. Shot just over top of the net. Looked like Burt got a piece of it with her blocker. Matheson works over Pankowski, fan on the clearing attempt, but got a second opportunity and made sure it got down the ice. Here's Matucci. Waits for her power play unit to complete the change. Gives it off to Costa. Now in the middle to Stacey. Richards is with her. Stacey walks to the near side and flipped it in for Costa, who drags it round back of the net. Far side now to the line. Shot off a body and wide. Flanagan came to it in the far corner. Couldn't get enough on it, but with the help of Gruschow, gets it down the ice, and the penalty is over. Matucci ahead for Richards. Through to Costa. Dropped it for Rattray. Shot right on. Stopped and held by Burt.
And we can talk a little bit now about these teams and who they're named after. Amanda Kessel, obviously, unfortunately out due to injury, but she this year recently paired with Canadian figure skating great Eric Bradford on the 5th season of Battle of the Blades. Sister-in-law of former pro hockey player and recently retired national team member Courtney Burchard, who is now Courtney Kessel. And she also has some brothers who play some hockey, apparently.
Yeah, those guys. Yeah, I was following along with Battle of the Blades, and I thought Amanda got jobbed a little bit.
I think so too.
Got voted off.
Yeah, I believe so too. And I'm a big Natalie Spooner fan, so I loved how she skated. But I think Amanda Kessel, being the American in the Canadian figure skating market, I think she got a little bit robbed.
Puck bouncing in the slot, knocked away. Bach regains control. Jenner in the corner. We've gone right back out with this top line. Try and maybe get the go-ahead goal after the power play was unsuccessful. Bach behind the net. Centering pass. McParlin works in. And Burt had it for a moment, enough for the ref to blow it down, but it did just pop out of her glove. But regardless, and McParlin working her left shoulder a little bit. Seems to be all right.
Yeah, just kind of got clipped there by Pankowski, it looked like. But able to get the shot off, so, kudos to her.
Keller back for Matheson. Takes it up the left wing side. Marvin tipped it. Skamura followed up. Now Marvin driving the net. Blocked by her own teammate in front and swept to the far side. Matheson tried to drag it around McParlin, but stick got in the way. And in comes Jocelyn Larocque against Skamura. Pinned up against the back wall. And That's not going to go too far. So
Jocelyn Larocque
ref
obviously
stops
trying
it.
to get a whistle there. And to talk about her and you know the team that she's representing here, she's a really unique situation because although she is a national team member and a carded member of the national team, she still holds a full-time job owning Stoke Strength and Conditioning in Cambridge and Hamilton alongside Becca King, a two-time Olympian and a Paddy Kaz nominee in her time at UMD.
Zalewski fished that out of the legs of Stacy as she was on the ice. Got it into the offensive zone. Knocked down by Keller at the line, but Stacy took that away. Just out of her reach. And thrown in far side. I think Keller and Jones may have connected a little bit. Keller came back for the puck. Matheson off the boards. Bolden got away from her. Grishow. Move it off to Zalewski. Tries to step around Stewart, can't do it. Now Rattray throws it out to center, gives chase. The rest of her teammates go for a change. Flanagan has to be sharp. Jenner and everybody's falling down at the moment. Bach now in the corner, tries to work out in front, flipped it on net. Rattray was there, knocked away from her. Flanagan. Chipped it out to center. Aid lost handle. Skarupa with a weak shot. Easy stop for Howe. Now Bach flipping it back for Bolden. Colzer. Thrown out to center. Rattray didn't have her stick ready for the pass. It's Samoskevich. Tries to muscle it into the offensive zone. Poke back out to the line. Now Gallardi. Errant pass. Here comes Jenner. Big shot right at the buzzer. Couldn't hit the net. And we're still tied. Do we have overtime?
I believe we do, yeah.
Oh, here we go.
It was nice to hear the fans yelling for the shot there from Brianne Jenner from center ice. And you just never know. Sometimes the puck on net, it tends to go your way. But that one, unfortunately, into the corner. And we're just going to get ready for some extra time.
And this is how you want to start a weekend like this. A real close game, high scoring, but still tied, and so we'll go to sudden death overtime.
Yeah, and our last stop when we were in Toronto, our first stop at the Dream Gap Tour, I believe all but one of the games was within one goal. So
wow.
Again, like just incredible athletes, putting a good product on the ice, and a testament to them. I mean, most of these players are not practicing regularly with each other. They're training in their own cities, at their own facilities, at people that are willing to help and provide ice time and resources to the PWHPA. So for them to show up here and have chemistry and the hockey IQ to play with anybody, just imagine what they could do with the proper resources. Being able to train every day, for instance, some of the things that we're fighting for, not having to practice at 10 o'clock at night and then go to your full-time job at 6 o'clock the next day. The value and the product on the ice is only going to increase.
I'm sure it's a real struggle to get that ice time. As you mentioned, 10 o'clock at night, it's the ice time's taken up by a lot of other stuff going on, minor hockey throughout the day, and you have to scrounge for what you can find, and a lot of it is really late at night. And then a lot of them have to get up early the next morning, go to their jobs.
And that's exactly it. We shouldn't be fighting for ice times, for minor league teams. I mean, these are professional athletes. These are the people that you watch every 4 years at the Olympics. And so, at some point they have to be afforded the opportunity to practice at a reasonable time and in facilities that represent and present them as the pro athletes that they are.
Looks like we're ready for some 3-on-3 overtime. Bach, Stacy, and Larocque versus Marvin, Keller, and Matheson. Marvin won the draw. Fed ahead for Keller. Marvin driving the net. Upended by Bach. And Larocque takes over. This is Stacy. Sidesteps Marvin. Bach's lost her stick. So Larocque goes up in the rush. Stacy driving the net. Swept away by Keller.
And if you know 6 names in women's hockey, these should be among the top 10 for sure.
Matheson looking for an option. Bach tracks her. Open side for Keller. Shot stopped by Howe. Comes to the line and just squeaks out. Rattray on now. And Matheson takes it behind her net so some of her teammates can change as well. Now Skamora and Pankowski. Skamora has the puck now as the change is completed. Flanagan is the defender. Left it for Flanagan. Rattray following her. Rattray trying to lift her stick. Here comes Skamora. 2-on-1 Skamora. Jenner stopped. Jenner with the back check and 2 saves for Howe though.
Yeah, the best part of 3-on-3 is just waiting for that one critical error because it comes and then there's going to be waves of back and forth. So excellent save there by Howie.
Here goes Rattray now all alone. Fired it off the leg of Matheson and wide. Matucci just held it in. Pankowski in her own zone. Dropped it for Matheson. Pankowski goes off. Matheson skates it out. Pass ahead for Janiga. And carried over the line just onside. Janiga watched by Jones. Takes it round to the near side. Matheson bobbled it a little bit, but held it in for Skarupa. Return to Matheson. Holzer tried to knock them off the puck. Skarupa walks in and risks that one right into the glove of Howe.
And the 3-on-3 format is something somewhat foreign to the women's game. I know certainly when I was playing it was 5-on-5 for the overtime. And I believe we went to 4-on-4 actually in the last couple seasons and then into the dreaded shootouts. But the 3-on-3, you know, certainly the players are adjusting to having a little bit more space on the ice.
Keller winds and fires. Howe stopped that one. Battle at the near side of the net. Stacy and Keller were fighting hard for the puck, and it just trickled out in front for Howe to place her glove on.
Yeah, 2 tall girls there battling in front of the net in Laura Stacy and Megan Keller.
Back out with the 2 top lines for 3-on-3 here. Marvin and Bach. Bach fell as she tried to reach for the puck. It's loose, and Keller couldn't drag it to get it to her forehand and slip it past Howe. Larocque settles the bouncing puck. Stacy driving the net, tipped just wide, and she followed up. Bach, the top of the far circle. Cuts to the front, backhand shot off the stick of Marvin. Keller bounces it to Marvin, and the pass ahead. Carried on in by Flanagan. Couldn't get it past Larocque, but Marvin followed up. Marvin with a nice little move, but couldn't find the open lane and flipped it at the side of the net. Larocque almost gave it away to Marvin in her own zone. Rattray just out of her reach, and that's an icing call against Team Larocque.
Yeah, you see it slowing down a little bit. You know, players perhaps a little fatigued. Now that jet leg is setting in, and also no scrape between the end of the third period and this overtime. So girls taking this moment to try to get their legs and look for that one opportunistic rush.
Pankowski lost the draw. Now 2-on-1 for Team Larocque. Bach checking the time on the clock. Bach back out for Rattray. She scores! Jamie Lee Rattray ends the game for Team Larocque. They come back to win it 5-4 in overtime.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't have done that any more perfectly with the commentary I was just delivering. You're looking for one rush, right? One opportunity. And again, with 1:24 left on the clock, Victoria Bach selling it and making that nice pass across. Easy finish for Rattray, who's driving the net hard.
Zafuta was the only defender back and trying to slide along the ice, take away any opportunity, but Bach found just enough daylight to get it to Rattray, and she made no mistake. So 2 goals on the game for Rattray now, and the game winner in overtime.
Yeah, she certainly worked all game for it, but you know, like we were saying, a huge amount of credit to the Kessel Wolves. Many of them flying last night, coming in here, putting on such a performance, and really dominating most of the game. I mean, Team Larocque capitalized on their chances, but I thought for the most part it was White who was kind of taking the tone.
Certainly, as we watch the players shake hands, the end of this one, Team Kessel will play tomorrow morning at 9:30 here at Herbert H. Carnegie against Team Bellamy. And whereas Team Larocque, I believe they are at 10:30 tomorrow morning, if I just check the schedule here. Yes, they are at 10:30 against Team Coin, and that's out in Vaughan. As the players line up to, I believe we have player of the game presentations.
Yeah, I think so. And the game tomorrow in Vaughan, Rogers Hometown Hockey will be present at that one. I hope, showing some highlights. I don't believe they're actually showing the game, but they'll be present, doing interviews, talking to the players, and helping, convey our message at the PWHPA.
And we're being told, Liz, that you're going to get sent down again to do another interview, so we'll say goodbye to you just a moment and turn it over to the PA announcer to hand out Player of the Game awards. Annika Zalewski, the third star of the game. Erica Howe, player of the game. Annie Pankowski, second star, 2 goals on the game for her. And Jamie Lee Rattray, the game winner, of course, 2 goals for her. Gets first star of the game. And a couple of Whitby Wolves there to shake hands of the 3 stars, and it looks like they're going to get their photo taken as well. One final salute from both teams. Team Larocque, sponsored by Graham Alarm Monitoring and the Kessel Wolves. As we just wait to get Liz Knox in for an interview. Looks like Liz is just about ready here again with the game winner scored by Jamie Lee Rattray down at ice level.
Jamie Lee Rattray, the Team Larocque hero of the game. Talk me through the game-winning goal.
I just saw Bacher hit up ice with the puck there, and you know that she's going to do something special with it. So I kind of try to be patient, and I was hoping she would shoot because I have better bets on her, but what a pass, and I was able to put it in.
And in the women's game, we're not really used to seeing a whole lot of 3-on-3. Typically, we're 5-on-5 or 4-on-4. So tell me a little bit about what that experience was like for you guys.
It was awesome. I mean, a ton of fun out there. It's kind of like when you're a kid on the pond, but I think we got to do more of it. It really showcases the game and how fast everybody is and how skilled. And like you see the patience of some of the players out there and how smart we are. And I don't know, it was a ton of fun. So hopefully we can see more of it.
And what are you guys going to do to prepare for tomorrow?
I don't know, have some fun. We were playing some fun spike ball before the game and just keeping it loose. And we're pretty lucky to play with a pretty great group here. And meet some new players players who've joined our team this weekend, and it's just a lot of fun. So we're going to keep it loose and have a lot of fun tomorrow.
Jamie Lee Rattray, the hero today for Team Larocque. The Dream Gap Tour, we're here at Herb Carnegie Arena all weekend. Game 1's under wraps.
Thank you, Liz, with first star of the game, 2 goals, and the game winner for Jamie Lee Rattray, and of course former teammates as well on the Markham Thunder, the former CWHL. Thank you for joining us for Game 1 here at Herbert Carnegie Arena in North York. Game 2 starts at 3:30 between Team Bellamy and Team Daou. I'll be back here to have the call. We thank Liz Knox for joining us. We're going to have a new color commentator for Game 2, but until then, we'll see you at 3:30 on YouTube and CBC Gem.